Hi everyone, I'm Parthiv Pidali. Today, as a part of book reviewing, I'm going to be reviewing about the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. Viktor E. Frankl was a professor of neurology and psychiatry and has written over 32 books. And this is one of the books in which he talks about his experiences in one of the concentration camps. Now, this was a time, the book was published during the time when Hitler rose to power and Nazi ideology was spread all over the world. He himself was a Jew, so he had to be taken to different concentration camps within those few years. And this book detailedly talks about his experiences, how he had experienced all his life, about the things that he had seen in the concentration camps, and also the things that other people have experienced, whether it's a depression or whether they're trying to be stronger or not. Now, this book has been divided into two parts. The first part talks about his experiences in the concentration camp. The second part talks about his idea or his ideology of logotherapy. Logotherapy, he states that a human is not driven by the force of money or power or any kind of external pressure. Any kind of external pressure is not responsible for us to achieve success or move forward in life. It is the quest for the meaning of one's life that actually takes oneself forward in life, to go forward no matter what. And this is what he have discussed in the second part of the book, Logotherapy in a nutshell. Now, the book starts with how he actually admitted in the concentration camp. He have moved to Auschwitz and many other concentration camps from there as well. And one of the things that he talks about is that he had done a very important work in his profession. And because of this, the Nazis that took away them and destroyed them, he was really depressed that all his work has now gone to vain. But at the same time, he had this hope in the mind that he should escape from this Holocaust so that when he survives, when he comes out of the camp, he can republish his work to the rest of the world. That was one of the things which was actually having that force, that spirit for him to survive. And not just that, his wife was also separated before he was admitted into it. All the males and females were separated, and there were a lot of procedures before they were actually admitted. Their clothes were changed, they had to take a bath, and they were not separate dormitories. All the people, they have to sleep in bunker beds, and a lot of details are mentioned in the first part of the book. Now, in the concentration camp, he got to meet many new people, different kinds of people. Some of the people, they're still finding it hard to believe that they are actually in one of the concentration camps. Whereas some of the people, they have actually lost all their hopes of survival, while there were still some people who still believed that they would survive one day, that they will escape from this Holocaust one day so that they can get out of the world. Now, in this book, what is the relevance in our daily life is that all the prisoners in the Holocaust are metaphors of all of us. That means all our problems are metaphorically represented there as well. So he actually gives us some, like, what could have you done? What you could have done when you were in this particular situation. All the suggestions of your problems in the first series as well. Now, he did make new friends there. He wasn't all depressed because, even though this was a really hard time for them, they tried to act as happy as they can, so that the depression could not get. So they made new friends, they spent some quality time together, they spent some chatting in the night time before the bed. But at the same time, because the medical condition of some people got worse, there weren't much doctors available, so he had to see the death of some of his friends there as well. But still, he tried to find happiness even in the smallest thing. These are the things which are actually discussed in the first part, just to summarize them all. But there are a lot more details in it, which I would really like to tell you that you must read that. Because if I'm going to tell you, then you're going to lose all it. It's going to be a complete spoiler. But the little details is actually what gives this book some that attention that it actually needs. In the second part, logotherapy, that is what he discussed after he escaped from the Holocaust. That means after he actually survived all this. Actually, he survives all this, and his friends got out. They were happy to be free. But at the same time, all the memories, all the bad memories that they had in the concentration camp, and also it was around the time of World War II. So that actually made them depressed. So in the end, it was kind of bittersweet, but at the same time, they were able to escape from them. It was then that he actually thought about this topic in his life, and he actually was writing it, and he created his own idea of logotherapy there. That till this time, he thought that it was money or political power that's actually making people happier or wanting them to conquer their fears. But it isn't. It's the quest, it's a search for one's meaning, the reason why they're alive. That is what actually keeps humans to go forward, keeping humans to move forward in life. That's what he discussed in logotherapy. And in that part, he discusses about his experiences as a psychologist and a psychiatrist, how many people came to him asking about the advices. Now, he actually gives a brief description about the problems that he had, especially when there's a small problem. It's mainly because of our anxiety that it would become a huge problem, and many people even commit suicide just because they are not understanding it. So he actually gives us a brief description about everything in our life. Now, in the first, when I started reading that, I couldn't find much interest because the first part was all his experiences in the concentration camp. So I thought it was just another history book. But there was something which actually kept me reading this book, which was actually keeping me, which is actually telling me deep inside that you should keep reading this book. And I read the book, and I soon found that it was not just another history book. The things which he actually talks in this book, when I started to look into my life in a different perspective, was all right. Almost everything he mentioned was happening in my life, and not just in my life, in all of my friends have actually recommended to me this book. They told that this is a wonderful book which you have to read as a teen. Now, if this book is fine for me because the language isn't too hard, and also that we had studied about all this in our previous years in history. So it was easier for me, but maybe it wouldn't be for everybody. But I would recommend this book. This is that one book. If you are trying to read, if you're trying to go for a recommendation for a book, this is that one book which you need to read because it's such an amazing book. It actually don't have much hard words. You can understand what it's actually meaning there if you actually focus on what's reading. Now, I actually bought this from a bookstore in Trivandrum, HNC, but you can find it online, Amazon or Flipkart. It's there in both the ways. This is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, an amazing book which actually gives you the brief description about your life and the problems. This is a must-have in all yourselves. Thank you. Have a nice day.